Advanced Matching helps find talented candidates so you can connect with them fast. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Guys, thinking about testosterone replacement therapy? Revibe Men's Health can help you get started if you're ready to book your free T-check. Visit RevibeMen'sHealth.com. That's Revibe, REVIBE, menshealth.com.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. A shakeup hits President Trump's national security team, as we hear from CBS's Linda Kenyon at the White House.
National Security Advisor Mike Waltz is out. So is his deputy, Alex Wong. Waltz is the first member of President Trump's second term to be ousted. This comes in stark contrast to Trump's first term, when several personnel changes happened before the first 100 days. Waltz has been under pressure since the Signal app controversy, in which a reporter was mistakenly added to a discussion about an imminent U.S. attack against Houthi rebels in Yemen.
CBS's Nicole Killian talking to Democrats on Capitol Hill.
Many, including Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who I spoke to a short time ago, reiterating that they believe it's really the defense secretary ultimately who should go and believe that Waltz shouldn't be the last.
Trump has said he backs Defense Secretary Hegseth, who was also caught up in the Signal incident. Federal judge has now barred the administration from deporting Venezuelans from South Texas under an 18th century law. It's the first ruling that the Alien Enemies Act cannot be used against people who the administration claims are gang members. GM says tariffs could cost the auto company up to $5 billion this year. Auto dealers have been busy since prices are expected to rise.
April car sales up about 15% over last year as more people try to beat possible tariff-related price increases. Ford analyst Eric Merkel says showrooms were busy.
There's no question that we saw strong sales here in April. I think we'll continue to see that in May.
This could be followed by sales dips this summer as many purchases were simply pulled ahead. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News.
Citing tariffs, Xbox has increased the prices of its consoles and controllers by more than 25%. It's a day of protest in several cities for Trump opponents. David Mittich is one of the organizers.
It's a constitutional crisis, and there's a lot of people, unfortunately, on the Democratic side that want to wait till the midterms. We believe that we don't have that much time. There's over 500 days now till the midterms.
Ukraine's President Zelensky today hailed the newly signed deal giving the U.S. access to the country's valuable rare earth minerals as truly equal. Ukraine is due to get additional U.S. protection as it fights Russian forces. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
President Trump has been clear from the beginning. He wants the killing in this brutal war to end. This agreement shows how invested the president is in securing a truly lasting peace.
And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 184 points. This is CBS News.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com.
The State Patrol searches for a missing toddler. That story coming up. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. The crash may have been cleared from State Route 522 westbound near State Route 9 in the Woodinville area. I'm not seeing much of a backup anymore. In Tacoma, the crash has been cleared from westbound State Route 16 at South Orchard Street. Still waiting for the backup to clear out completely, and it looks like you might have a new stalled vehicle there on 16 near 19th Street. Traffic brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. The Washington State Patrol is searching for a 16-month-old taken from a Bothell home by a non-custodial parent this morning. Troopers say they're searching for 36-year-old Jessica Bassett, and they're concerned for the toddler's safety. We have put their pictures up at mynorthwest.com. If you see them, call 911. The father of a Bellevue High School graduate is pleading for information in the death of his daughter at her California college. KIRO 7 TV's Deborah Horn has more.
Alan Hamill still struggles to talk about his daughter, 18-year-old Elizabeth, Liz he called her.
She was kind. I really appreciated that.
The last time Liz was seen fully alive was on Valentine's Day. She and friends, students at the University of California, Santa Barbara, were celebrating at a local restaurant. Just after 10 o'clock that night, Liz left with a young man her friends did not know. Less than a half hour later, she had fallen several feet from a breezeway on campus.
She died several days later. Her family is searching for the young man she was last seen with. We have his photo at mynorthwest.com. A second arrest in a deadly shooting in Tacoma. A man was gunned down on South G Street in the early hours Valentine's Day. Police arrested a 15-year-old that night, and now they've arrested a 16-year-old boy. Both are facing potential first-degree murder charges. A new option for people being prosecuted in Seattle for misdemeanor drug use or possession. You can skip jail if you follow certain steps.
The steps include signing an agreement, taking a drug use assessment, completing a drug test, and have no criminal violations for 60 days. The city attorney's office can proceed with mainstream court proceedings if the program steps aren't met. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Tacoma police rescue a man whose car crashed into a power pole.
Can you climb over? Come here. Give me your hands. Give me your hands.
The crash happened earlier this week on South I Street and South 96th Street. The power lines that came down were still electrified.
1, 2, 3, go. We got to get away from this car, brother.
He was taken to a local hospital while utility crews fixed that power pole. Seattle scores a new sports franchise. The Professional Women's Hockey League announced it's adding Seattle and Vancouver, BC as expansion teams. Amy Shear is the league's VP of Business Operations.
We really hope Seattle and Vancouver develop a pretty cool rivalry.
There's no official team name yet for Seattle. The squad's going to play its home games at Climate Pledge when the new season begins this fall. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs in the low to mid-70s. It's 53 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
We back. Happy Thursday, May 1st. At some point, Nick, we need a little bit of Bone Thugs and Harmony. Ursula wanted me to tell you that. She wants a little Bone Thugs.
Yesterday, G asked the question, who is the band that does this song? You knew I wasn't going to answer, and you put lunch on the line for everybody because you knew you wouldn't have to pay up. But what I also found out is so many of our listeners knew exactly what we were talking about.
A lot of our listeners knew Bone Thugs. Hey, the YouTube is back, Ursula.
Yes.
And all of my people are showing up right now.
Yes.
Nicholas, Mickey, Marvin, all you guys in the YouTube. Good morning, Ursula.
Good morning. As always, we invite you to join us also on our text line, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. That has been busy all morning. And I just want to say that I love the fact that there are people who fully agree with us and there are people who totally disagree with us. And I think today has been largely very respectful. And I just want to say thank you for that. So we're going to continue with this next segment. And I'm going to guess that a lot of you have something that you want to weigh in when it comes to what we're going to talk about. So let's get going.
What's new at 10?
So today is May Day, and this is usually when you see big protests all across the country on behalf of immigration and labor rights. And a lot of times in the past, we have seen some of the demonstrations become violent. That is not what they're expecting this year. It has largely not been the case. But in any case, you are going to see rallies all across Western Washington. But in this current environment, immigrant rights are a big issue. And people who have green cards are being deported to El Salvador, as you've heard. Legal visas are being canceled, and the homes of citizens raided by men with guns in the middle of the night. We're going to get to that story here in just a second. That actually happened. That's not being hyperbolic. But we got word that there was a retired Marine, who testified at the Seattle City Council yesterday. And this was really one of the most moving things that we've heard in a long time. And he was in tears about his concerns right now for his neighbors and his country that he fought for.
I'll probably get emotional. Sorry. I'm a former Marine, and I signed up to defend the Constitution a long time ago. And all those Marines, sailors, they died defending Constitution and the rule of law. And the rule of law is under assault. And so I don't know. I'm new to Seattle. I've lived all over the world. I've seen governments that don't, the dead bodies in the street, the governments that don't care, and I don't want that here. But that's the way we're going. I don't know what I'm going to do if I see one of my neighbors who I know is on a visa. If masked people without identification are trying to snatch her, I'm not going to just stand back and say, gosh, I should probably film this on my camera. That scares me. I don't want to get shot trying to help somebody getting abducted on the streets of Seattle. So what can you do? You can be on the right side of history. You can be a Harvard versus a Columbia. You can be a Perkins Coie versus a Paul Weissman. We can stand up and fight. We can sign up with California. I know this is just Seattle, but we can sign up for California and sue against the tariffs. If you aren't waking up every day and thinking, how can I fight against this? We don't know if the 2026 elections will be real at this stage with the changes he's trying to make. I want my voices heard. I want your constituents' voices heard. And if we don't do something and we just keep talking about budgets, you've probably been in this role for a long time. There's always been a budget problem. There's always been. But there's not always been a fascist threat to our democracy in the presidency. And we have to stop treating this like it's normal. Thank you.
I listened to that this morning when Chef sent it over, and hearing him, and I love, for some reason, you would think that when someone is former military, that used to mean something, right? But now, sometimes when you hear someone speak former military, people usually don't want to pay attention to what they have to say because it will be based on politics. Ursula, everything that he said, and I think that's where I'm at too. These first 100 days, 102 days now, they've been exhausting. And I think the difference is before and the difference is now. I think that when Donald Trump took over after Obama, and his inauguration was January 2017, and when he took over then, largely left in place was the Obama infrastructure, right? That was kept in place, whether it's the Treasury, IRS, Commerce, Trade, all of those different things. So there was a lot of things that when he was in office, he said a lot of things, but there really wasn't anything like job stability was there. It wasn't uncertainty. We didn't have these trade wars. Everything was kind of cool. And then, of course, he lost in 2020 and after COVID. And it's like there's been this preparation to come in. And now, this time around, he's coming in purging lifelong employees, so much uncertainty, not listening to defying judges' orders. This is different. This is something that, as an almost 50-year-old man, I never have seen or felt any of this. This reminds me of what we saw in documentaries. So back to hearing him say that, some people, including him, including myself, are very worried right now. Mm-hmm. Very worried that America might not be on top like we used to think it was.
And I understand that there are going to be people who either text us right now or who are on our YouTube community are going to be saying, well, this is what we wanted. This is what we wanted to disrupt the status quo, et cetera. Then we're not speaking to you about the real fear and the real sadness that a lot of people feel. And I felt that in this retired Marine's testimony, which he came to city council just out of exasperation and just at a loss as to what just pleading for hey, city council, you can do something, we all can do something. And I love what he said. Every day we should be waking up and asking ourselves, what is it that we can do to make that difference if we're not happy with what's going on right now?
His name is Matt Payne, by the way, and one of the reasons his testimony came up is because the city council members were talking about how many of their constituents on a daily basis are contacting them in fear, saying, what can you do? What can we do? I'm worried I'll be taken, while I'm at work and my child is at school and, I'm a single mom. Those kind of situations. So that's the context in which it came up.
And one of the things that he said is you can be Harvard or you can be Columbia, obviously talking about these Ivy League schools that are either caving or fighting the administration. Yeah. And in our state, you can be University of Washington or Eastern Washington University, because right now this Trump administration is making funding cuts to universities nationwide. And there are a bunch of college presidents who are joining together and they are stepping up and they are going to fight. So the American Association of Colleges and Universities issued a letter speaking against the unprecedented government overreach and political interference now endangering American higher education. Again, in our lifetime, can you even think of any former president who was basically dictating what universities should teach, what their admissions things should be, and threatening federal funding based on how much they kowtow to the current administration? I can't remember that.
You've been doing this job longer than me. And also, Ursula, I want to apologize because I called him a former Marine. I should know better. Right. My father is a Marine. You're never a former Marine. Yeah. A Marine is a Marine forever. My bad.
So as of right now, there are close to 600 schools that have signed up in support, including University of Washington and Eastern Washington University. Wazoo is not one on the list. But according to the Spokesman Review, many professors have reached out to the university president, Elizabeth Cantwell, urging her to sign the letter in support, but they have not gotten response. I mean, this is what schools, colleges, community colleges are dealing with everywhere right now. They're almost paralyzed with, what can we do? They're spending a lot of time. You talked about, you asked State School Superintendent Chris Rakedahl how much time and energy is being spent trying to fight these things. Mm-hmm. A lot of colleges right now are spending a lot of energy fighting these things. And
oh, by the way, we didn't get it to our news because it just happened while we're doing the show. The jobs reports came out for April, and it has been the most amount of job cuts in a month since 2020 happened just this past month. So if anybody wants to know, what's going on with the jobs, there you go. The most job cuts in April since 2020 has happened here in this country.
And we just heard from our friend Angela Poe Russell, who said a family member was laid off locally at a job here. Well, and again, if you think that we are fear-mongering, because we do get accused about that by some, and we often talk about immigration enforcement. We haven't reported on this yet, but something really disturbing happened in Oklahoma to a U.S. citizen along with her 3 daughters. And this is a story from KFOR in Oklahoma.
I don't know who they were. They had guns. It was dark. All the lights were off.
They were federal agents, Marissa says, with the U.S. Marshals, ICE, and the FBI.
And I kept asking them, who are you? What are you doing here? What's happening? And they said, we have a warrant for the house.
They ordered Marissa and her daughters outside into the rain before they could even get dressed.
They wanted me to change in front of all of them, in between all of them.
The thing is, the suspect names on that search warrant were not Marissa's or anyone in her family's. They were, however, names listed on mail still arriving at the house. Former residents, perhaps.
We just moved here from Maryland. We're citizens. That's what I kept saying. We're citizens.
She says they didn't care.
We weren't criminals. Why were they treating us like criminals? We were here by ourselves. That we didn't do anything.
The agents ripped apart every square inch of the house, taking their phones, laptops, documents, and their life savings in cash as evidence.
I have to feed my children. I'm gonna need gas money. I need to be able to get around. Like, how do you just leave me like this, like an abandoned dog?
And when they left, they told her something.
I know it was a little rough this morning. It's so denigrating. Like, you do all of this to a family, to women, your fellow citizens, and it was a little rough. You have literally traumatized me and my daughters for life.
This family has virtually nothing.
And I said, when are we gonna get our stuff back? He was like, it could be days or it could be months.
Nothing but questions.
Well, what if I would have been armed? What if you're breaking in? What am I supposed to think? My initial thought is we were being robbed. My daughter's female daughter's being kidnapped.
Nothing but likely lifelong trauma.
We have guns pointed at our faces.
Okay, now, again, DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, is admitting that they raided the wrong people. It was the right house, wrong people.
Yeah. I remember Breonna Taylor, that happened. You guys remember that with the no-knock warrant. My heart breaks for this family, and I don't know what it's like to have my home. I've never had that happen to my home. However, I was telling you guys before the show that I have seen no-knock warrants happen. I've seen them with my own eyes. They used to happen so often down in my grandmother's neighborhood that it was like, oh, you're used to it. It was no big deal. Like I said earlier in the show today, there are some people who've always lived in a neighborhood that has never had to worry about any of this. And so now today we have someone, because they say, oh, you need to do it the right way. And here are individuals that has done everything the right way, and they still got that. And the problem is when you hear her tears, we still have a fraction of the country that don't care because she's Hispanic. We still have people in this country that if it was somebody else, maybe they'd care. But we have people that don't care that they go through this because, okay, well, we want to try to find the criminals.
Yeah, I'm going to read because I just got this in the last 20 seconds. The Department of Homeland Security says in a statement that the previous residents of this home were the intended targets for a court-authorized search warrant for a large-scale human smuggling investigation. So they're still standing by the raid, but they blame the courts where agents obtained a search warrant for not having the updated information. But Homeland Security is saying ultimately it was a successful operation.
So like she said, what if she would have used her gun? Mm-hmm. Right? What if she would have done that? Then they would have, you guys remember what happened to Breonna Taylor. Then they fire back. She loses her life. Then what? Then we just move on? Again, they started all this, Ursula, with we want to go after the criminals. We want to go after the murderers. We want to go after those that the rapists and everything. We are seeing in real time that that's not just who they're going after. That's not who they are attacking. That's not who they are going after at this time. These are people who are doing it the right way and still can't be safe in the United States.
Well, and the bar keeps getting lower, too. I mean, the Trump administration is now saying that immigration agents do not need a warrant to enter your home, so they can kick down your door. They don't have to carry identification on them. They don't have to identify themselves, right? So literally, you're going to have dudes with masks, no ID, kicking down doors, especially in the 100-mile border zone where immigration enforcement is going to be the highest. You have Trump saying we're going to deport U.S. citizens. And yesterday, Republicans refused to block a measure that would have prevented ICE from deporting citizens. So they're saying, great, we're on board with that. How long does it take before we get from the worst of the worst to people who say things that we don't agree with?
Mm. Can you please say that again? They voted to do this, Ursula, that they are okay with the deportation. In the judiciary hearing yesterday in that branch,
yes,
they voted for it to be okay for U.S. citizens to be deported.
House Republicans have voted down an effort to block immigration enforcers from using federal resources to detain or deport U.S. citizens.
All in. Okay, still ahead. We need to talk. We're gonna have an update on what's going on at SeaTac Airport, SEA. Is there good news in all of this? Sully's going to join us. That's the good news.
It's always good when Sully joins us.
Yes.
Do it next, Gee Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington.
The Jake and Spike Show.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
There's a fire at the Cheesecake Factory. Downtown. They were already closing down that location. They had announced back in March. And I'm not suggesting this is what they did. Not at all. God bless them. Not in a million years. I love their club sandwich. This is an interesting coincidence.
I don't know, man, where there's smoke. I'm just saying.
Jake and Spike.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
On KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM. Watch the Jake and Spike Show live on YouTube.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the road you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
Hey there, Dawn Reiling with Olympic Hot Tub. Get ready to unleash your best self with your very own hot spring spa. Hot spring spas feature the amazing freshwater IQ salt system. Enjoy healthy saltwater soaks and a tub that automatically tests your water for you. And now till May 15th, save up to $3,800 on your new hot tub. Details at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
Making an Impact, sponsored by Granger. Gen Space is an LA-based senior center unlike any other. 85-year-old founder Wallace Annenberg knew how much it was needed.
I was going to do something that specialized, certainly, in an older generation that would be interested in coming together like this.
For the ones who get it done, Granger offers professional-grade supplies and solutions, made for every industry and backed by product experts. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by.
This is Jill Schlesinger. May is Military Appreciation Month, and I know how much I appreciate the military. I married into a military family. I hear from so many members of the military, and Navy Federal Credit Union wants us to celebrate those who go above and beyond for us every day. If you're active duty, a veteran, or part of a military family, you're eligible to join. At Navy Federal Credit Union, the members are the mission. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/celebrate. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-471-5897. 800-471-5897. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-471-5897.
For many years now, Heritage Homecraft has been making stunning kitchens for the folks of Puget Sound. Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. When we resurface your existing cabinet boxes, install custom-built cabinet doors, and tailored quartz countertops, it'll transform any old, outdated kitchen into the showpiece of your home as it ought to be. All done in about a week without the mess, hassle, time, and expense of a complete tear-out. Not a national chain, your new kitchen is designed, created, and installed by a team of dedicated craftspeople who live and work here in the Pacific Northwest. Have one of our professional representatives out for a free in-home consultation. We'll bring the showroom to you and leave you with an exact quote for your new kitchen. I promise you'll be amazed by the quality and transformation. Just ask any one of our thousands of satisfied customers. If you call today, there's still time to have your new kitchen installed before summer. Call today, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Reutin, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Why choose Care Partners Senior Living over in-home care? Amanda here. Care Partners communities are safer than your home, provide more socialization, and may be more affordable than in-home care. Find a Care Partners community in Washington or Arizona at carepartnersliving.com.
I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after turning 40, I noticed my libido just wasn't what it used to be. That's when I reached out to Revibe Health. Their team knew exactly what I needed, which is why today, my wife and I are both more satisfied than ever.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, text BOOST to 65555 or visit RevibeMen'sHealth.com to schedule your appointment. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help. Text stop to cancel. See privacy policy at RevibeMen'sHealth.com/privacy-policy. For info on how opt-in info will be used and terms and conditions at RevibeMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of short code service.
If you're thinking about renovating an attic, spending more time in your sunroom, or building onto your home, a Carrier ductless unit is the perfect solution for climate control. It's efficient, quiet, and incredibly flexible when it comes to installation because there's no ductwork required. It's just one more way we're making your home totally comfortable.
Your local Carrier heating and cooling dealer will improve your home's comfort, air quality, and efficiency. Visit CarrierNorthwest.com to find the expert near you. Carrier, turn to the experts.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A walkout is underway at Seattle area community colleges. It's part of May Day remembrances today.
We're being threatened with budget cuts at the colleges and furloughs at the colleges across all classes of workers. And those not only hurt the workers, they hurt our students as well.
A May Day rally and march is planned at Seattle's Cal Anderson Park starting at noon. Immigrant rights advocate Hilda Ortiz plans to attend, although she says the Trump administration has many in the community spooked, even U.S. citizens.
I currently carry a copy of my children's passport and our passport just in case, because we're in a country and a situation that we don't know if we'll be the next person targeted.
Governor Ron DeSantis has asked Homeland Security to allow Florida National Guard members to act as immigration judges.
If this is approved, we will go off to the races and we will be able to do really from soup to nuts, from apprehension to detention.
He mentioned that as he announced more than 1,000 people had been rounded up in a joint effort between local agencies and federal immigration agents in Florida. Trump National Security Advisor Mike Waltz is out. He's the one who accidentally invited a journalist to a Signal app chat about U.S. airstrikes in Yemen. Waltz and his deputy Alex Wong are leaving their jobs. Sources say this is due mainly to policy differences, not necessarily the app scandal. The U.S. and Ukraine have come to terms on a deal that gives the U.S. rights to rare minerals in Ukraine in exchange for military aid. CBS News national security consultant Colonel Jeff McCausland.
Indications are at least that military aid in future now will be called American investments.
Ukraine has been fighting off a Russian invasion since February of 2022. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 253 points. NASDAQ ahead 362. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in Tacoma, the HOV lane is blocked on State Route 16 westbound at South 19th Street. I'm not seeing a huge backup there just yet. A crash is blocking a lane on State Route 522 westbound near State Route 9. You're still backed out backed up from about Woodinville High School to Costco. And we've got some heavy volumes out there still. Travel time Federal Way to Bellevue is almost an hour, 20 minutes longer than typical. Renton to Bellevue 39, that's about 15 minutes longer. Traffic brought to you by Seattle Sports. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial on 97.3 HD2. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunny skies today with highs in the low to mid 70s. It's 56 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News.
I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Thursday to all of you. It is going to be in the 70s today. It's a beautiful day, and Mr. Sunshine himself is in studio. That is Chris Sullivan, otherwise known as Sully.
Yeah, Mr. Sunshine. Hi.
Hi.
It's good to be here.
Today, you are wearing the very bright shirt.
Yeah, this was what I was going to wear yesterday. And Gee and I would have been twins.
Oh, my gosh.
It would have been, yeah. So I had to wear it today in homage.
Awesome. Okay, so we're talking about SeaTac Airport, and anyone who's been there lately knows there's just tons of construction and detours and all sorts of fun stuff. So how long are we going to have to deal with that, and what are we going to eventually get?
Well, we've got about another year's worth of construction under the current situation. They're going to have that whole northern end with the Alaska area where they're redoing all that, adding the checking in the middle, check-in at the mezzanine level and all that stuff. That'll all be done before the World Cup next year. So that whole terminal will be done. The new checkpoint, or the checkpoint that used to be there, checkpoint 5, which is now checkpoint 6, that'll open before Thanksgiving. So they'll have that open before they actually open up all the ticketing and everything. The Sea Concourse, they've been building that giant 4-story high-rise in the middle of the Sea Concourse that's going to have a bunch of new restaurants and lounges and things like that. That'll be open early next year. So the current projects that we have right now should be done in about a year, just before the World Cup. But that's when the next series of expansion will hopefully begin as they try to do what they can to meet the ever-growing demand at SEA in the fact that they've got nowhere to go, really. I mean, they've got a 2,500-acre footprint. That's so small. There's nowhere to go without taking over Burien or taking over, the interurban, going all the way over. There's no room. You look at Denver International Airport, 34,000 acres.
Hey, have we found another location for a new airport? Gee?
No. No. You know what? At this time, Sully, and I know Coop be listening to the show and everything.
He just emailed me, yeah.
Did he?
Coop being Perry Cooper.
I go to SCA a lot. Matter of fact, I'll be there next Friday again. It's just been frustrating. I get it. I don't care what restaurants you put in there. I don't care about this new. I just want the congestion to stop.
And that should hopefully by Thanksgiving, when we open up those two other or have the 2 full extra we'll have all 6 checkpoints open. They're adding 11 TSA lanes between now and Thanksgiving. So hopefully that will help. The new 5 coming online here in June. That's on that checkpoint 1 we talked about before. That's down on the lower level, the very south end of the terminal. That should be helpful. And then getting a checkpoint 6 back up and running will be helpful, because you're right. There just isn't the capacity to. There not enough lanes to get people through under the current circumstance.
So let me be specific and tell you when and where I lost my attitude. The last time I was at the airport, and what is the new gate now where you go and you take the bus to the airplane?
Okay.
The shuttle, rather.
I did that. That happens on some planes from time to time. So you go to N. Or no, you go to the regular, and then you go downstairs to that cool little area there that's right next to the. Holly and I went there last year. We were like, where's our plane? How are we going to get on this plane? There's nothing there. There's a little, stairway down to this little empty area, and the walkway, the old bus drop-off was right there. Then all of a sudden, the bus rolled in and took us over. We got on we were like, what? Yeah, there are 2 gates that they do that. And that's just a way that they can try to squeeze an extra couple of planes in there. They do it whenever they need the overflow. Yeah, that was a shock to me. I was like, wow, I've never experienced anything like that. I get it. But they do that so they can have the flights that that they have. I know it was a giant, because the thing that got me, because right, you get in there, you go through TSA, you've got your number, like, okay, I'm this, I get on the plane, I'm group A. Well, all of a sudden you get on that bus, and if you get in the middle and 20 people get in front of you, now all of a sudden you might as well have been in gate C. You might as well have been in group C, because the 1 through 20 doesn't exist anymore. Yep. At that point, it was like a free-for-all to run to the back of the plane to get up the jetway. So I get it. I get your frustration on that. And maybe this will be alleviated with the next expansion, which I know is one of the reasons why you guys wanted me to bring in here. The fact that they're looking to build a brand new terminal over the next 7 to 8 years. The plan is to build a brand new terminal with 19 gates, also satellite like N is now, and it would go basically where the George Fox parking lot is right now, right next to the cemetery north of the cell phone lot.
So have they given up on getting a new airport? It's just going to be expansions versus trying to find an entirely new
this is like the
airport?
final expansion that they can do of any super significance without basically taking over Burien and building another runway and eminent domaining, as Chef and I discussed this morning, because there just isn't the room. And so where this would go is if you drive in the expressway and you're looking at the end gate right there as you're driving in, all the planes are right there. You have like a bunch of buildings on your right-hand side. They get rid of all those buildings, which include United Cargo, the fire department there. They would move those and then put the new terminal right there, build all the parking and an access from the express lane in that George Fox parking lot. Then you would walk over the expressway and get into that terminal, and that terminal would be self-sufficient. It would have its own check-in. It would have its own ticketing. It would be its own thing. Now, you land there or you need to get somewhere else. They haven't quite figured out how they're going to move people between there and N, or whether they need to build another underground. Or again, this is all part of they're in the process of trying to get this designed and approved and whatever. That this is tabletop. But at mynorthwest.com, you can look at the map that I put up there of kind of what they're looking at. But yeah, it would be a whole new self-sufficient thing that maybe Alaska takes 19 gates there, and you're at that gate. You just go to that terminal. You never see the main one.
The next time you go over there and talk to Perry Cooper, I call him Coop, can you just ask him, I know it won't happen, but does Alaska Airlines, which is the hub, which is Alaska, I love Alaska Airlines, does it have to be first?
Yeah, that...
I mean, like for real. Think about this. Like, Alaska is first, and that is the reason for the bottleneck.
Yeah. And well, I hate to tell you, with the amount of money they just are spending right now to redo that whole north entrance just for Alaska, it ain't moving.
But even Alaska would have to admit, like, yeah, you guys are right. Like, if Alaska's at the end, it's not like we're going to pick another airline because Alaska's at the end. We're coming to you, Alaska.
True.
It'd be good for Alaska passengers, too. When I fly Alaska, I get jammed up right there, too.
Yeah.
Clear out.
But again, that's another good reminder to drivers and people dropping people off and not. I know you don't want to put it on them. I get it. But there's a whole terminal to go through. And if you just drop your people off midway where there's nobody there, just hang in the left lane and pull around. That's the only time I will advocate being in the left lane, mind you, is at the airport to get you where you need to go to get. But you're right. That being right there at the front, that kind of messes it up for everybody.
Thanks, Sully.
Anytime.
Appreciate you. Hey, coming up next, we'll do scenarios. Gee Ursula.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
While you're getting ready every morning, make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO News Radio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO News Radio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Hi, my name is Rajiv Nagaich. Ever since I became an elder law attorney more than 20 years ago, I've helped thousands of people in the Seattle area retire with more confidence about their future. I'd like to invite you to one of my retirement planning seminars this month. Learn how to protect your estate from long-term care costs. Live out your years where you choose, even if you get sick, without becoming a burden on people you love the most. Learn how to use the Safe Harbor Trust to protect your estate from threats most people overlook. Come to the seminar and I'll show you how it's done.
Join the free seminar in Federal Way on May 13th, Tacoma on May 15th, or Bellevue on May 17th. Register at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com. Or call 253-838-3454. 253-838-3454.
When the heat's in 11, cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush. Act now before summer, because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave, keep your house cool and safe.
Dayandnight.net.
Make sure your AC will keep you cool when the summer heat gets here. Save $50 on a pre-summer AC tune-up. When the heat's at 11, stay cool with Day and Night.
Dayandnight.net.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the New Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced New Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the New Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best-kept secret and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your New Skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the New Skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
Charlie Harder here. When your hot turns to cold, you better think fast. Fast water heater. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST. That's 1-800-THINK-FAST or fastwaterheater.com.
You better think fast. Fast water heater.
Why choose Care Partners Senior Living over in-home care? Amanda here. The answer is simple. Care Partners communities provide safe living spaces with medical professionals on site. We assist you with your mobility so you can participate in activities whenever you like. You can have privacy and socialize at your own pace. And you may find Care Partners more affordable than in-home care. With locations throughout Washington and Arizona, you'll find a Care Partners community near you. Care, it's in our name and what we do. Learn more at carepartnersliving.com.
Playing that for Ursula. That's what I'm talking about.
This is Bone Thugs and Harmony,
I
Ursula.
love it. Okay, thank you.
All right, scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
By the way, I haven't done this in a long time. This scenario burns me up. I'm happy with my boyfriend, but I'm not sure I can deal with his work schedule. he's a firefighter and works 24-hour shifts. He's there the whole time, and then he comes home and sleeps. He always says he doesn't have the energy to do anything, so we just sit and watch TV and order takeout. He rests up for his next shift, then off he goes again and repeats the cycle. How should I deal with this? Or should I not and just pull the plug now? 888-973-5476. Ursula, you up to bat first.
Only you can answer that question. You know he's a firefighter. That's his profession. That may be his passion. That is part of the job. And so the question is, how do you fit yourself into the lifestyle that he has to have as a firefighter, which I understand they also have stretches of days off, right, after doing those long shifts. So maybe you can plan something on the days off that he has and just know that this is what it's like. And if you're not up to doing that, then you've got your answer. I mean, the answer would not be telling him to find another career.
Yeah. Well.
This seems pretty easy to me. I would get him a depression screening, because anybody that cannot get out of bed on a consistent basis, does not want to go anywhere, do anything, like, this is not normal behavior for a firefighter, a swing shift worker, someone who works till 2 or 3 in the morning. You know, you get your sleep in, and then, later in the day, the afternoon, evening, you're ready to go. I mean, I've had really long schedules, like 16, 18 hours. And I've also had times when I've been extremely depressed, and I just could not make myself do anything.
Yeah. Chef, hold on. Chef, yeah, I totally disagree with you on that, meaning depression. First of all, the reason why this bothers me is because of this. This dude is a firefighter. He has 24-hour shifts. He's going out doing his thing. One of the things that happens is, and this is not trying to be a sweeping statement, Ursula, but this is just for the fellas. Sometimes, Ursula, there's just a lot of pressure. You could be going through stuff at work. You could be going through, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you could be going through like
everybody.
everything. Like that happens, and sometimes that pressure is sometimes we men don't. We don't come in and have that. We just don't. Just come in and kind of we're trying to being the protector of the family, right? And so sometimes you have those stresses that are on you, and it might have you relaxing and like the house being your cell phone charger, the place where you really reset and you go back out in the world. Everything isn't always great at work. Sometimes there's stress at work that you don't bring home and talk to your spouse about. Mm-hmm. You right?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he needs, and honestly, someone who works that kind of shift, whether it's a doctor or a nurse or a firefighter, knows best. How do you deal with that? There are stretches of time when you have time off, like chunks of time, where maybe you can take advantage of that. I mean, to Chef's point, I mean, obviously, if depression is part of it, that's one thing. But I think it sounds more like, hey, she's looking for a good time, even on the times when he's exhausted. And the answer to you is that's not how he operates. And it's not fair to say, hey, I feel like you're not doing what I want to do because you've got this job that requires you to rest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think to me it would be easy in that, you need to decide whether you want to be there long term.
This is also one of those topics, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, like you're dealing with something. As you said, it burns you up.
It does burn me up because I've also been personally on the other side of this, right? When you're not making enough money, you're not doing well financially, right? So then you're upset about that. Sometimes people go and they go work and like, oh, they work too much. You can't win.
Yeah.
And I don't really know what this person is dealing with. I don't know why they are coming home and just watching TV, but I can raise my hand and tell you that when I work a whole lot, that happens for me too. We're sitting on the couch watching TV is my reset button before I get ready to go out here and work 14, 15 days straight sometimes.
Yeah. And I think bottom line is you need to be supportive, find other ways also. You as the partner who is not going through that exhaustion, etc., you can find things to keep yourself busy as well. But the thing that you need to ask is this something that I can sustain long term?
And that doesn't usually happen, too. When they're complaining about you working so much, okay, does this person also have to be the one that provides and sets up the entertainment, too? They got to do everything? All right, Nick, what do you got?
I do feel bad for someone who's going through the grind of working endlessly with a job that's harder than most, but at the same time, he knew what he signed up for. And if the lady has issue, either make time aside to have those 24-hour dates with each other, because if you can't, it might be time to move on if you don't like the marathons at the firehouse. Some careers are different than others, and at least you can say he's in town and not traveling, but I do feel your pain. It can be tough.
I do want to mention one other thing, because Chef said, a depression screening. I don't think that's a bad idea for anybody, quite frankly.
No,
and a lot of people are saying, hey, it could be that he has seen a lot of things that do really bother him to the core and are exhausting mentally and physically, et cetera. So, I mean, that's not a bad idea. But again, you as the other partner need to ask yourself, are you willing to invest in this?
Yeah. Yeah, that topic right there burns me up. All right, good stuff. It's time for the 11 o'clock hour. Hey, by the way, Ursula, did you decide, because tomorrow's Fresh Fridays, and I asked you something during the break.
You did.
And
I'm always game when we can do that.
Can you make good on it?
Absolutely.
What did I say?
You said, can we go Trump-free
tomorrow
on a Fresh Friday? And I said, absolutely. He said, no. You said, no matter what. Now, I can't promise that part, no matter what,
right? Because
there could be something but we're going to try our best to do that.
All right. I would like to not talk about him tomorrow.
Yes.
All right. Hey, coming up next, we will do Agree to Disagree. One of the topic is Washington State Patrol has new technology to enhance driver safety. So we discuss it next. Gee Ursula.
The John Curley Show, weekdays 3 to 7.
The guy that was a hitman for the Gambino. He's part of the Gambino family, yeah. And there was a motivational speaker. He's in this, talking to a bunch of, grade school kids. You're like, listen, you guys gonna be okay. Just don't be snitches. They get stitches.
John Curley, weekdays 3 to 7 on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM. Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube.
Hi, it's John Curley. Longevity Medical Clinic is your best plan for long-term well-being and personalized health care. Dr. Mixon, let me ask you a question. How long have some of your patients been working with you?
We've got patients now that have been with us for over 20 years that are in their 90s, who came to us in their 60s. The grandparents now in their 90s are living independently. They're not on walkers, they're not on canes, they're not headed for nursing homes.
I meet people and they ask about, wow, you're in great shape, you have 12% body fat and stuff. What's the secret? I said, it's not a secret. Longevity Medical Clinic has been there for 25 years. There is no secret to the fact that if you make those small changes, you avoid the big, bad, horrible stuff that most of us just think, well, this is what's supposed to happen to me.
And if you're heading downhill and you don't change your direction, you're going to continue going downhill. And what we do at Longevity is we redirect you and we take you back up the hill.
So get your free health analysis. Go to longevitymedicalclinic.com. That's longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Stay informed and entertained with Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
There's going to be a lot of audio. We're going to laugh at most of it because if you
have you seen The World lately?
Well, if you did anything else, you'd be crying.
Jake and Spike, weekdays noon to 3 on KIRO News Radio.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Have you heard the saying, chuck in a truck? The guy running a roofing company out of his messy pickup? Well, here's the scary part. Washington doesn't require a test or experience to be a licensed roofer, and they definitely don't require a brick and mortar location. Chuck could be working out of his apartment with 0 employees, hiring random guys off the street. Yikes. And the SBA says 90% of roofers are out of business within 5 years. Jim here, Chief Roof Nerd at RoofSmart, where we do things right. We have a real location on Central Avenue in Kent and a team of 50 full-time roofing pros who actually know what they're doing. We're not some fly-by-night outfit. We've put down roots, or in our case, a cement foundation, so you'll always know where to find us. No disappearing acts, no cut corners, just top-quality work from people you can trust. That's RoofSmart. Come see for yourself, or call us at 206-487-4877, or visit us online at GetRoofSmart.com. That's 206-487-4877, or GetRoofSmart.com.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. A shakeup at the White House. CBS News has learned National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and his deputy are leaving. CBS's Margaret Brennan.
Signal gate, so to speak, was the beginning of a level of distrust here. The president has maintained no one did anything wrong. So that cannot be the grounds for a dismissal. My understanding is that it is actually going to some policy divides and some frustration on a personal level with Waltz and Wong. But we'll be following this developing story.
There has been no comment from the White House. Reporter Olivia Rinaldi.
We'll be watching to see exactly what the framing is of whether or not he chose to leave, offered his resignation, or whether or not the president had just lost confidence in him and said it's time to go.
On this May Day, a day when many protest, judges and lawyers are staging their own demonstrations as the many court battles play out with the administration. Scott McFarland reports.
It's happening on the Supreme Court steps as lawyers take their oaths again, trying to reassure themselves and reassure the public that they remain devoted not to a specific client or political figure, but to the Constitution itself.
A federal judge today barred the Trump administration from deporting any Venezuelans from South Texas under the Alien Enemies Act. He's the first judge to rule that the act cannot be used against people the administration claims are gang members. We're learning more about the deal the administration signed with Ukraine yesterday. Ukrainian President Zelensky said today the minerals deal is truly equal. Ramy Inocencio reports it contains a different sort of security guarantee than the Ukrainians sought.
The hope, at least, is that this agreement will mean that the U.S., if it invests, will be more inclined to protect then what becomes its own interest, right? Washington will want to keep its money safe, that's a belief, and that it'll keep defending against Russia's invasion.
General Motors pledged today to take additional steps to boost its U.S. supply chain after projecting a $4 to $5 billion hit to earnings due to tariffs. The company says it hopes to offset 30% of that with self-help measures that include quick changes to production and the supply chain. Jason Brooks reports there are more worries about the labor market.
Challenger Gray and Christmas reports that U.S. employers announced more than 105,000 job cuts in April, up more than 60% compared to a year earlier. Federal government cuts slowed down, but topped more than 282,000 in 2025, more than 7 times above the level from the same period a year earlier.
And checking the markets at this hour, the Dow Jones Industrials are currently up 196 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Mystery surrounds the death of a Bellevue High School graduate. The story coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Tacoma, the crash has been cleared from State Route 16 at South 19th Street. The crash may have been cleared from State Route 522 westbound near State Route 9. That's in the Woodinville area. Your backup is disappearing there. You've got some heavy volumes, but travel times are easing. Travel time Federal Way to Bellevue is 45 minutes now, just about maybe 15 minutes longer than usual. Renton to Bellevue running 10 minutes longer than typical. Traffic brought to you by Beacon Plumbing. For all your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking call Beacon.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. The family of a Bellevue High School graduate is desperate for answers after she fell from a third-story breezeway at the University of California, Santa Barbara on Valentine's Day. She died several days later. The father of 18-year-old Liz Hamill tells KIRO 7 TV he's searching for the young man she was last seen with.
He is the last person that we know of that had contact with Liz, and just if he has any information with respect to her last moments.
We have a photo of him at mynorthwest.com. Developments in a Valentine's Day shooting that left a man dead in Tacoma. He was found mortally wounded near 13th and South G Streets. Officer Shelby Boyd says they arrested a 15-year-old suspect that night, and then
the investigation continued on, and detectives identified a second suspect in this case.
They took that suspect, a 16-year-old boy, into custody this week, both now booked for first-degree murder. A King County man is facing hate crime charges after an incident in Bellevue. More from KIRO 7 TV's Samantha Lomibao.
It started as road rage.
One of the involved parties had a firearm.
Bellevue police say the victims, a mother and two 13-year-old boys, almost crashed into the suspect, 52-year-old Kelly Bailey. Instead of driving off, the victims told police that Bailey followed them into the gas station parking lot, pulled out a gun, and went towards them. The defendant started using anti-black racial slurs and threatening to kill the victims.
The suspect told police he pulled over at the gas station to calm down and only had his gun with him for self-defense. The Washington State Patrol is testing out a new system which will deliver alerts to apps like Waze and Apple Maps when an emergency vehicle is approaching. The warnings will also appear on some newer model vehicle dashboards. The program is called Safety Cloud, and it's going to be tested in North Bend. How hot are the Seattle Mariners?
Mariners win 9-3 over the Angels. Mariners have won 7 series in a row.
The M's beat the LA Angels 9-3 yesterday. They are tops in the American League West right now. The Mariners are off today before hitting the road for a weekend series against the Texas Rangers. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs in the low to mid-70s. It's 59 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. It is May 1st. Can you believe it? May 1st. And by the way, on May 1st, the most beautiful day in the Seattle area. Good morning, Ursula.
Good morning. Yeah, when we're hearing potentially mid-70s, this is my jam. This just makes me happy no matter what.
And so
love it.
You're so happy that tomorrow is Trump-free.
Yes.
That's how happy you are.
I see that folks on the text line are saying, please, yes, please.
They did.
So we're going to do our best to do that. How's that?
As long as he don't.
Yes. I do need to ask our guest. We're going to probably have a guest in the 10 o'clock hour. And the one thing I have to ask is just, there are a lot of talk about how, all the things that are happening under President Trump. But I really haven't gotten a good feeling about what the Democrats' plan is moving forward.
I'd imagine it's saving our country. I would imagine.
I want to hear some specifics.
Yeah, because right now there's an attack on our Constitution. Wait, we all agree with that, right? We all agree that right now there's an
on the
attack.
Show we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe thoughts and prayers. It's kind of what it seems like right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that. But right now we're going to focus on agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree. Brought to you by Garden Roofing and Gutters.
One of these days, you got to take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
As you heard Heather say, the State Patrol is testing out new tech that could help emergency vehicles move through traffic more quickly and more safely. It's called Safety Cloud. It can send real-time digital alerts to your smartphone, basically, and to vehicles, some vehicles, like an Amber Alert. And so it can warn you if an emergency vehicle is approaching you or if you are, say, approaching an accident scene. It works with Waze, Apple Maps, and a lot of U.S.-made vehicles like Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. It'll spread out to more, though. Gee, do we need more emergency alerts on our phones? In our cars?
This is hard because I just want to say first, the Amber Alert, I totally get it. I'm glad that we do it. It is very important. But that Amber Alert be like I've never
it gets your attention.
It jolts me. Jolts me. So I guess that's important. So because keeping that the same, I'm out on anything else.
So you don't want to add to any other kinds of alerts.
I can't do it.
Now, when it comes to trying to, where would this tech again be? I mean, where would we see it?
So if you have Apple Maps open, for example, right, it would pop up as an alert in your Apple Maps. If you have a car with a digital display, right, that's able to interface, it would pop up on your car.
I actually would be in favor of it because too often, and we hear the statistics that emergency vehicles and also people working on the roads, there are too many accidents surrounding that. And anymore, because traffic has gotten so bad, have you noticed that when there is an emergency vehicle behind you, like, where do you go? What do you do? Sometimes it's really hard, and I know that we are impeding their ability to get to an emergency.
Well, I just want to say this. It is not a good idea when there is an emergency vehicle that's coming and then they go and everybody pulls off to the right. And then you get behind the emergency vehicle and you go. That's not a good thing to do.
That is
Don't
not
do that.
a good thing. It's
Lawyers
very
do
annoying.
that, I hear, or they used to.
Well, that was the thing that they would say about it. Now, T and Conway makes a good point, though. Imagine all the accidents as people are reaching for their phones in the same area to see what's happening.
See,
there would be some unintended consequences.
T and Conway, you win. Thank you. You got Ursula. Are you changing?
Yeah, I may be changing.
I got one for and against. I don't necessarily know about the accidents, but what if 1/3 of the cars on the highway all of a sudden need to merge to the right, and the other 2/3 of the cars have no idea what's going on? I could see that causing problems. But I also have a crappy car. I've always had crappy cars, and so I'll listen to music with earphones. And I don't know if you have ever been...
Whoa, Chef.
Jeez. We're going to shame people now?
I mean,
no, I don't believe you admitted that.
But Chef, that's not safe, bro.
I only put one in. Okay? It's in my right ear. I mean, to be fair, my left ear doesn't work very well. But yeah, I've had emergency vehicles like roll up behind me before, and you don't
can't
notice.
Hear? Okay, so that's the reason why you're not supposed to have headphones.
It's like if they just have the lights on. That's happened to me before. So I could see this being useful for a lot of people who are just really ignorant of the roads like me.
We're deaf.
I thought you guys were going to keep piling on.
No,
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. All right. A ban in Spokane. So the city council over there has decided to ban any kind of store aside from grocery stores that can sell alcohol for consumption off-site near parks and schools and libraries in order to protect the neighborhood feel and discourage folks from drinking in public. Gee, this means basically mini marts. You can't have it within a radius of, parks, schools, libraries, etc. What do you think about that?
I'm good with that, and I'm good with that because, growing up in Chicago back then, and I'm sure it was like this here in Seattle as well. It really, really was a lot of liquor on every corner being sold, and I felt like there was more liquor stores than a lot of other things. So, yeah, Ursula, I'm with this.
I'm gonna say I'm against it.
Okay.
And only to come up with some ideas as to why I'd be against it. And one would be what else could you limit in terms of, because you don't want them near parks, schools, libraries, et cetera. Smoking, cigarettes. Should you ban smoking or stop these stores from selling cigarettes? Those aren't great for your health. So that would be one thing. The other thing is, I think that even if you don't sell the liquor right there, you're really putting a Band-Aid solution on this, because people are going to buy their liquor elsewhere and still go to those parks, and schools, and not go to the schools, but be in property near, you know what I'm saying, properties near schools, etc. So I know that Spokane has a problem that they're trying to address, and I think I would be focusing more on trying to help the folks who have these addiction problems versus now shutting down stores from selling that liquor.
Yeah. I like what Jesus says, and I agree with this. We should have never privatized liquor stores. I liked it when it was just state ran.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
It costs more, but it's also easier to find, right?
It costs less back then.
No, I mean, it costs more now.
It costs, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Boy, this is a brand new story. I'm just seeing this right now in Newsweek. There's a couple here in Seattle. The woman's name is Anita Rainier. They moved into a new house. As they're moving in, Anita looks in a kitchen cabinet and finds a strange note. It has a series of numbers, like 12, 14 random numbers on the back. She flips it over and it says, "Don't look under the floor." If you find a creepy note like that in your house, G, are you looking under the floor?
Well, first, let's be real. Of all the nosy people that's in our studio right now, Ursula looks first right away. Second, I don't know that I would do it, Ursula. I would have somebody else do it because I'd be kind of nervous and scared. But absolutely, we're going to look up under there. Especially if you tell us not to.
How funny that you point to me and I'm going to be nosy when perhaps the nosiest person in our newsroom is you.
What you mean?
Because not only are you nosy, but you have receipts. There's video, yes.
Here's the thing. You don't even mean that, Ursula. You know that you are the nosiest one here. You know that.
Yeah.
Even our listeners, we all know that.
Yeah, and more curious. I wouldn't say nosy, because nosy has such a negative connotation.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But yeah, if I have a question, I will ask it.
So are you looking?
Is there
Of course
there's a
looking.
potential of a body underneath your floorboards? I mean, what could possibly
That
be
would
the
be
upside?
even more reason to look. And I would actually have someone like someone who would be willing to move said body if there is one underneath.
You would okay? I'd rather just be completely ignorant.
Are you serious,
Chef? No,
But I don't know. I don't know.
Chef.
No.
If you saw a note, and saying, "Hey, don't look up under the floor," right
I'm
there.
not ripping up my flooring because of probably a likely prank that somebody left, like old homeowners, right?
So you just like tear up the note and just go about your business.
I just cannot.
There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way.
You would rip apart your floor?
If it said "Don't look underneath the floor"?
Yes.
It would be an awful.
I'm not living there.
It could be
not knowing what's
potentially an
underneath my
awful.
floor.
It could be potentially an awful prank.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Now that-
okay.
now
Like a
that's
$3,000 prank, and you got to redo your kitchen floor. No thanks.
I just want to say
This is true.
this
Anyone
is true.
buying a house is going to have someone go into the crawl space. Yeah. I'm having an inspection.
Yeah.
I'm not buying the house sight unseen.
But if the note got put there, probably after the inspection, right? After the inspection has been done, before the house closes and all that stuff. Now that I think about it, I'm thinking this is probably a 50% chance that this is a prank for you to. I'm actually rethinking this decision. Ursula.
Yeah. Did they? No. Did they?
They have
ever,
not said what they've done.
Oh.
This just came out. So I mean, I've heard of like contractors leaving stuff in the between the drywall is kind of a prank, or electricians doing that stuff. But I'm not tearing it up. Okay, let's move on down to Australia. Gee, we are about to be in swimsuit season here in the city of Seattle. And a recent survey, apparently this is a big problem down there, reveals that the majority of Aussies oppose bans on G-strings and thongs at the beach. Do you think we should have a dress code for the beach? Should certain attire not be acceptable to wear in public?
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me?
Because I think that this answer that I'm going to give is one that I think people are going to be surprised with. Yes, I do. I don't think you should be wearing, both men and women, I don't think you should be wearing thongs and things like that. What?
Thongs? That happens all the time.
I don't think that you should be able to do that.
Wow.
I know.
Really now?
I'm being serious. Yeah. I want a dress code on there.
And this is a public beach?
Yeah.
Public beach.
And you want a dress code?
Mm-hmm.
I think that you can say no nudity. But but anything beyond that, like who's going to be the policing that?
What if somebody just has dental floss on?
Who is and sometimes they do. Sometimes they do.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Lake Chelan. This last time I went to Lake Chelan.
Yeah.
Someone within my party was wearing a thong.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of a lot. I'm not. No.
Why do you need the picture?
Yeah, why do you
trying
need
to
that?
get
Yeah,
the picture
exactly.
in your head?
No. I'm like, you know what?
So
I need to get over myself. It's like, hey, I'm not in that space in time in my life. Yeah. I will say though, when I went to Europe, I was in Greece at Mykonos, and I went to one of those nudie beaches. Well, it was nude optional. I did not go nude. And the funny thing is, I think people pay more attention to the people who have bikinis or clothes on than they do when everything's exposed.
So before we move on, because I know there's a lot of people you guys are calling me old, calling me a prude. First, I am being serious. I want dress codes. But my question is to everyone. What is it? Let's talk about dental floss. I mean, a thong. Is that not nudity?
Yes, that's nudity. I completely agree with you. If I can see them cheeks, no.
That's nudity. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can pretend you're wearing clothing, but you're not wearing clothing.
So what's... Okay, I don't know how to do this, so I hope I don't get fired for this.
I cannot believe
Is just covering the areola just not considered, as long as you cover that, then it's not nudity?
Let's go out with pasties.
For real.
In some cases, there are people who, and you just have to know when you go out to the beach, you may see a little more skin than you want.
Well,
look the other way.
My definition of nudity is when the cheeks aren't covered. You know what I'm saying?
Again, that can be fairly subjective. How much? 3 inches? 5 inches? What?
No, actually, didn't the Washington State Supreme Court rule on that with bikini baristas a couple years back? And they said, I believe, if you can see the anal cleft, was that what it was?
Nikki,
why is your head in your hands?
Nikki's calling me a prude.
You are
Hold on,
a prude.
Let's check in with Nick. Nick, Gen Z, talk to us.
You got to stay decent. I think you got to leave the lingerie at home, I guess you could say.
Thank you. Like, what are we doing? Like, if we're going to the beach, keep some clothes on.
Who's going to police that?
But
Do
what
you
about
actually
the
want
children?
law enforcement to go out there now? Lifeguards?
With a
we
ruler?
don't even have lifeguards to patrol the beach.
Think about what a recruiting push that could be. I mean, you get to be
What
like
about,
the G-string measure.
Like, I was on swim team. I'm sorry, but some of those Speedos that men wear.
Yeah, but they're not. I mean,
you see everything, right, G?
Yeah, you do see everything.
Well, most guys aren't wearing Speedos to the beach.
That's okay, though, because it covers up the behind area, at least.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, a lot of people calling me a prude. You know what's funny? If you would have came into the show and tried to guess which one between Gee and Ursula would be okay with dental floss, butt floss, whatever y'all want to call it would be Ursula. Ursula, you would be the one they would think that wouldn't want that.
No. I'm laughing because Nick in Snohomish County says, my man breasts are bigger than a lot of women's breasts. Let the breasts fly.
Oh.
Frank from Everett, we see you too. Decency doesn't exist anymore. I mean, I just want to know what kind of enforcement will we be
public
talking
shaming?
about?
Okay.
Public shaming.
Before we go, let me ask a real situation. So check this out. Ladies, you go to the pool with you and your friends and their husbands. When you go, one of your friends wears butt floss and a very skimpy top.
Great question.
I want to ask you, ladies, are you comfortable during that experience?
Yes. This friend is very attractive, by the way.
Ursula, I don't believe it. I believe you. I don't believe most women are comfortable. I believe you. No, I really do believe
I
you.
also believe that most of my friends, especially, I'll just say it, like in my age range at this point, we're not going to be going in dental floss. Okay, let's just put it that way.
It's hypothetical for you.
30 years ago, 20 years ago, no, I would have zero issue.
There comes a point where if you overdo it, the skimpiness, it becomes a turnoff, to be honest. It looks like you're trying too hard.
I was today years old when I learned that Ursula is the most progressive person on this show.
When it comes to bikinis on the beach.
Floss? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I'm
like I say,
I'm
I just want to see you on a Greek beach.
I'm leaving out of this topic like.
Why do you want to see him on a Greek beach?
Because your eyes would just be popping.
No, I've been to Barcelona. I've been to Spain.
Yeah.
I've been to new beaches.
Yes.
I lived in San Diego. I've been to Black Beach in La Jolla. Those that know, you know. But I'm really leaving out of this segment like low key disappointed in my co-host.
And I'm disappointed in you. I love you.
No, I love you back. Hey, coming up next. You know why y'all listen to the show? Because anytime we talk about wildlife, we get ready to talk about coyotes. Yep, we're doing that next. Gee and Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes, Seattle's trusted news source, KIRO Newsradio.
Today is May Day, and Seattle police are preparing for the annual marches through downtown. It's possible more demonstrators take part this year, the first May Day under President Trump's second term.
This is Nate Connors. If things get hairy out there, I'll have you covered with traffic every 10 minutes on the 3s, all afternoon during your ride home.
Coverage you depend on. KIRO News Radio. On 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Need a new roof, but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the roads you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Why'd I go to the doctor?
One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said, but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Guys, thinking about testosterone replacement therapy? Revibe Men's Health can help you get started if you're ready to book your free T-check. Visit RevibeMen'sHealth.com. That's Revibe, REVIBE, menshealth.com.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A day of May Day demonstrations, including a walkout at Seattle community colleges. Live to KIRO News Radio's James Lynch with more on that. James?
Heather, this demonstration started at 10 this morning. A crowd of more than 100 people, faculty, staff, and students holding signs and chanting. Teachers say all across the system they are being threatened with layoffs and furloughs because of ever-tightening higher education budgets. Teacher Helena Ribeiro says state lawmakers need to do more.
The state has not been investing in higher education for decades. Our allocation models are not equitable. Our taxation models are not equitable. And if we had progressive taxation in the state, we wouldn't be in this problem.
Now, there are protesters out here carrying signs protesting against Donald Trump, ICE, and RFK Jr., but so far, this has been festive and peaceful. Reporting live in Seattle, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Thank you, James. A May Day rally and march is planned at Seattle's Cal Anderson Park starting at noon today, so in half an hour. It is expected to focus on workers and immigration rights, but advocates say because of the Trump administration crackdown, some in the immigrant community are too afraid to turn out today.
Never in a million years have I thought that we were going to be in a situation like this.
Hilda Ortiz tells me she's a U.S.-born citizen, but as a darker-skinned Latina woman, she says she carries her passport and those of her children with her just in case. The federal government has launched a first-of-its-kind investigation into Washington State's superintendent's office, claiming the state is pressuring school districts into allowing transgender athletes. State Superintendent Chris Rickdahl tells KIRO Newsradio's Gee and Ursula.
They really want to attack transgender kids, and that's what the whole goal of this is for them.
And he says those kids are protected under state law. Some local Head Start providers are suing the Trump administration over its efforts to dismantle the program that provides early childhood education and other services.
KIRO 7 TV reports the suit was filed against the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, accusing it of unlawfully implementing the DOJ and anti-DEIA executive orders by gutting the program of staff and resources. Among the plaintiffs, the Head Start Association of Washington State and the ACLU of Washington. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Trump National Security Advisor Mike Waltz is out. He's the one who accidentally invited a journalist to a Signal app chat about U.S. airstrikes in Yemen. Waltz and his deputy Alex Wong are leaving their jobs. Sources say this is due to policy differences, not necessarily the app scandal. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 276 points. NASDAQ ahead 382. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, most of our major problems have cleared up. You do have construction that has you slow from the Tiger Mountain Summit to I-90 on State Route 18. Those heavy volumes are lightening up. Travel times are just a few minutes more than usual. Everett to Seattle, half an hour. Federal Way to Seattle, 27 minutes. Renton to Bellevue, 23. And your lake bridges are clear. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine with highs in the low to mid-70s. It's 59 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
You like that one?
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. The reason I'm cracking up is the text messages that are coming in are priceless.
Yeah.
Sabino in Redmond said, I just got back to listening and I'm hearing of boyfriend's breasts being bigger than women's breasts. What is going on? He said, what you're all talking about is like Russian roulette. Trust me, that's what I feel like often.
Seeing the text line respond to our last segment reminds me we needed a palate cleanser.
Oh,
a lot of us listening to the show. And
yes, including us.
Including us. And your text messages have been hilarious.
Yes, for sure. 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. If you're just joining us right now and you have no idea what we're talking about, make sure you check out our podcast. But let's do what we also do best.
Another thing for lunch.
Okay.
I'll get you lunch tomorrow.
Oh, no. You know you're going to give me something impossible. Okay.
Do you know who sings that thong song?
Boy George.
Myself. I said self.
Let me see that thong.
That's Cisco.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Never would happen.
Okay.
Never would happen.
Don't ask me why I had that dialed
up. All right. So let's talk about coyotes, one of our other favorite topics, because an Edmonds man and his dog were stalked and charged at by a coyote at Southwest County Park. And this happened for 15 minutes. And we get the story from one of our very favorite reporters, Lauren Donovan from Fox 13 News.
For me, it was just a display of like, okay, you need to leave.
Jerome Thibault recalls the walk in the Edmonds woods just days ago when this big old coyote came out of the brush, making its presence known to both Jerome and his dog Simba.
And then he charged real quick.
Barking and even howling.
I'm a big guy, so I was never scared that they were going to be attacking me or jumping on me. But when you have a coyote that's stalking you, you're uncomfortable.
Jerome says he grabbed a stick, and that seemed to deter the predator a bit. But for 15 long minutes, walking away, peering over his shoulder, he'd see it, inching closer and closer.
It was a female. She was most likely had a den nearby. Because we were slightly off trail with Simba, she probably panicked. And then she said, okay, those guys need to get out of there.
I know my man D-Dub in Lakewood's listening and thinking what I'm thinking right now. His name is Jerome?
No, it is Jerome.
Jerome.
Yes.
And I could listen to that accent all day long. So again, if you encounter a coyote, you're supposed to remain calm and don't run, which is exactly what I didn't do. And it sounds like, I mean, how do you stay calm if a coyote is stalking you for 15 minutes and charging at you?
I was literally going to take Matthew and Alice to this park last weekend. I'm like, oh, it's about oyster mushroom season. I'll go see if we can find some mushrooms in the park. I'll take the kids with me and we'll forage around off trail. I'm really glad I didn't do that now. Because like that would terrify them. They would be terrified.
Our animal experts need to weigh in because, again, coyotes are supposed to be kind of wary of humans.
Except this time of year when they're pupping.
There you go.
Ursula, the other day, the people that do our lawn in the back had called me outside, right? And so I opened up my back door and I went outside and he wanted to just show me like our sprinkler system needed updated. And so I was out there looking at him. Like, okay, cool. And then I go back in the house. And now it's been like a couple hours. I've been in the house. And Lillian comes home. And probably after another hour that she's been home, she's like, where's Frankie? Our cat.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, you know what? I haven't seen her in a while. And Frankie, we just looking all over the house. And then I'm like, oh, I went outside and opened the door, talked to them, came back in and closed it. So now we're looking, and I'm trying to keep calm, but in my mind, like we're calling her in the yard, everything. So then I get in my car and I go to drive, and I'm trying not to panic.
Oh, no.
Lillian is in tears, getting to the point where she's in tears. I went in the back area, and I just kept thinking, I was like, man, did a coyote come and get Frankie? Well, what happened was Lillian kept screaming Frankie, and she heard a little faint, and it was in the other neighbor's yard, and she was tucked off in the corner, scared, shaking.
Yeah. Was that her first time ever outside?
No, but first time outside without us knowing.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I didn't know she had gone outside. I just came back in, closed the door.
Dude, okay, you know you were like you were almost dead meat. If you're the one that's responsible for opening the door and like the
chef, I started to think, man, because I know a coyote would see Frankie and be like, man, that's a nice little snack.
Yeah.
That's like a grilled cheese sandwich.
The coyote that was sizing up Scooter, and I say sizing up, walking side by side. And by the time I figured out, oh my gosh, that's a coyote, we started running, which again was not what we're supposed to do. But on the other hand, that coyote was chasing after us, not running the fastest because obviously I was able to outrun him.
Annette K is talking about swoon over that accent. Annette K, chill.
No, Annette, I'm with you. Jerome. You need to read bedtime stories.
Well, how y'all know that's how you say his name?
Sounds French.
Wait, the name Jerome sounds French to y'all?
No,
his last name is Thibodeau.
Oh, yes. No, I know what he sounds like.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you,
Jerome.
Every Jerome I've met
but
has
you
been
pronounce
part of
it differently
my
in
delegation.
French. Jerome.
Okay.
Excuse you.
Well, one thing's official. Last segment really put this show off the rails. So
yes,
we'll come back next. Your text messages, feedback. Then we'll have Ursula's words to live by. Gee Ursula.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
While you're getting ready every morning, make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO Newsradio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO Newsradio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
Cold is leaking and rocks are moving and mold is creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor Installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Lake Washington Windows and Doors makes it easy to enjoy new windows with clean glass technology now and defer paying for them until 2026 with zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for 12 months. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Are you looking at diversification and stability with your investment portfolio, especially with the volatility right now in the stock market? Hi, I'm Scott Reutin, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years. We've had zero investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given market conditions. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Legacy's Northwest Fund also accepts IRA accounts as well. Find out why over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Get in touch with us today. Legacy's Northwest Fund returning 9% has limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
It's a new year, but many seniors are struggling with the same old problem: high prices and rising property taxes. We're here with our friend Steve Titler of Best Mortgage, and he says a reverse mortgage may be the answer.
Many seniors cannot afford to stay in the home they love. A reverse mortgage gives them access to equity in their home without having to sell. They can pay off their mortgage if they have one and maybe pull some extra cash out of their home. And best of all, they have no mortgage payment the rest of their life.
But as you always say, a reverse mortgage is not for everyone.
That's right. Avoid the high-pressure sales pitch from those out-of-state call centers. I give you a consultation, not a sales pitch. I'll tell you if a reverse mortgage is right for you, and I always tell you if it's not.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts. Best Mortgage. The VA loan experts and debt consolidation specialists too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage. 425-649-6000.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. When you're dealing with business owners and the idea that they owe money to the IRS and they feel like they might be letting their staff down, and it just spirals out of control.
One thing I see with businesses, it's really tough because they have employees and maybe they're having a difficult time with the cash flow of the business. Then unfortunately, what a business often does is they quit making their payroll tax deposits, which is really about the worst thing you could be doing. I mean, it's a telltale sign if you're doing that. Hey, get someone that can help you kind of look at your business and see if things can be changed so that you can operate your business better and make those payroll tax deposits. Because let me tell you this, the IRS is on those right away.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, you have to call Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN, None Better Tax Resolution.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better.
Stay fresher under pressure.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's Gee and Ursula, everybody. It's now time for the good old text messages. Start us off.
And regarding the Trump administration opening an investigation into the Washington state superintendent, Mark and Nisqually said, wow, what happened to the Republican stance on states' rights? Is that only when Democrats control the White House? I'm just asking questions.
The Mariners are off to an excellent start. 206 says, big Mariners fan. If they are doing this well in August, then I will get excited.
Diane in Seattle says, stop discussing the Mariners. You're going to jinx them. 425 bandwagon fans. You want to do that one? Sorry.
425 bandwagon fans will come out of the woodworks. I have a World Series fund. I put $100 a month in. I have been doing this for over 20 years. I always joke my nieces and nephews will get a big inheritance from that fund because Auntie never got to see the M's in the World Series. Come on, M's. Prove me wrong.
Thanks, Allie.
On the State of America, 360 says, I'm a veteran as well. I'm also saddened by what is happening in our country. I just received news that the Veterans Administration is curtailing their sharing of information and resources with veteran nonprofit organizations such as VFW or DAV to assist veterans in claiming their earned benefits. These are by orders from the White House.
Let's see. The state of ICE raid in Oklahoma on U.S. citizens. Jamie in Seattle says, I just volunteered at an asylum clinic over the weekend, and the lawyers told me anyone who has immigrated to this country who is a naturalized citizen should be carrying their passport or a passport card on them 24/7.
Kevin in Black Diamond says that should never have happened in the United States to a family. If there's a house being raided because of illegal activity, they need to make sure they have the right house or the right people. And once they find out they have the wrong people, they need to fix the problem. This should not have happened.
Raul in the 206 says the color of our skin is the target.
Regarding Speedos at the beach, a bunch of you texted in about that. Nancy in Shoreline says, my sister-in-law loves to flirt and be the center of attention, and I don't care.
253 says, men, this is misogyny. Men have always thought that they were entitled to tell women what they can and can't do. Stop it. Stop trying to police women and their bodies. Women can wear what they want.
206 says, oops, it's not about adults, it's about kids. I don't need my 6-year-old daughter seeing people with thongs and pasties and thinking that's what gets you attention. That's an opportunity for you to tell your daughter, yeah, you don't want that kind of attention.
Dawn out there in the West, that's West Seattle. Gee, get yourself to a beach in Europe. You will never see nudity the same. When you see topless 80-year-olds, it takes the weirdness out of things.
This is true,
Dawn,
too.
I've been to new beaches in Europe.
Brian in Bellevue says, I was today years old when I learned that there are 2 different kinds of dental floss. Oopsie.
Scenarios. My firefighter boyfriend never wants to do anything. Mark in Nisqually says, pull the plug now. Do both of you a favor. Old retired firefighter.
206 says, wife of a firefighter here. Sometimes on that 24-hour shift, they may be only got 2 hours of sleep. So a day of rest in between shifts is totally necessary. If he's doing 24 on, 24 off, 24 on, etc., that is a really tough schedule. The longer stretches off are worth it, though. If she can't handle it now, get out.
206 says, get them T-levels checked. He may be low on testosterone.
And then 808 says, firefighters are the first ones on medical emergencies, and they see all the gore, PTSD. Entirely possible.
All right, Ursula, it's time for your good old words to live by. What you got?
And I love this one. It is very simple, but is something that we all need to be reminded of, all of us. To truly understand others, we must first learn to see things from their perspective.
Good one. Yep. Good stuff there. Nick, what do you got, bro?
Well, it is indeed the first day of the month again in May, where we cue up that Bone Thugs and Harmony song on display. But I'm not quite finished yet with tunes that fit the theme this time, so I'll grab my good friend Justin Timberlake to do the crime.
It's gonna be May.
Yeah! Now go out and enjoy this greater day with more sun rays, and we'll come right back tomorrow for your favorite
Fresh Fridays.
Keep your dental floss, thongs at home, though, and stay decent for me, please.
That was, you know what? That was my chance to guess it.
Yeah.
I should have guessed this. Dang it. Messed up.
Or you should have asked me, can I guess who this is? And I would have gotten lunch for everybody.
Then we would have gotten lunch, dang it.
I know you know who this is, Ursula. All right, Ursula, what's it like having your son home?
Oh, it's been wonderful. You know what he said today? And I love this. He said, Mom, it's going to be really nice out. Let's go walk Green Lake.
10 minutes ago, Lillian just texted me and she said, let's go walk Chambers.
There you go. I hope all of you listening right now do get a chance to enjoy the sunshine. Just forget about everything going on that brings you stress and just take in that sun.
It's a Chamber of Commerce day, as you would say.
Yes.
So tomorrow, Fresh Fridays is Trump free tomorrow, right, Ursula?
It'll be Trump free if you don't say Fresh Fridays and emphasize that S, because that just drives me nuts.
Our listeners don't want that. They want the Fresh Fridays. All right. Thanks, Ursula.
Thank you.
All right, Chef. Have a good one. How's baseball going, Chef, for Matthew?
Baseball's going great, man. That's a lot of fun. Love the kids.
Oh, good.
I'm just thinking maybe we should test out the G-string theory on the show here, because you think that'd boost our viewership on YouTube Live?
And then we get fired afterwards.
We blow up, though, for one day.
So we would have 200 instead of 100.
Yeah.
Y'all, we're missing out on YouTube. It was down for a little bit, but it's back up. So you can watch Jake and Spike coming up next. And then join us again tomorrow.
You got it. Nick, thank you.
You too, man.
Hey, the Jake and Spike show, they're coming in next. Stick around. Appreciate you for listening. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you had as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
The John Curley Show, weekdays 3 to 7.
It's an exciting night at my house last night. Nick came home. She's all excited. This shirt she found was $80. So she's sitting there talking to me, and all of a sudden she goes, I can't breathe. Cut me out of it. I was like, cut you out of it? It was $80. I got it for $11. Why'd you even buy it? Because it was $80. I got it for $11. I knew it wouldn't fit, but it was so cheap.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube, weekdays 3 to 7.
If you're thinking about renovating an attic, spending more time in your sunroom, or building onto your home, a Carrier ductless unit is the perfect solution for climate control. It's efficient, quiet, and incredibly flexible when it comes to installation because there's no ductwork required. It's just one more way we're making your home totally comfortable.
Your local Carrier heating and cooling dealer will improve your home's comfort, air quality, and efficiency. Visit CarrierNorthwest.com to find the expert near you. Carrier, turn to the experts.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better. Stay fresher under pressure.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
Nearly everyone wants to grow old in their own home. Yet, according to research conducted by Stanford University, 70% of Americans will not achieve this goal, despite having done a lot of retirement planning. Now, why does this happen? Hi, I'm Rajiv Nagaich, an elder law attorney who's been studying this phenomena for the last 20 plus years. The problem isn't the planning that you do. The problem is what you haven't been told. That's why retirement becomes a nightmare.